Solve Leetcode question 695, max area of an island, and this is a median Leetcode question. So you're giving an basically grid. An island is a group of ones representing land. So one is land connected four directionally, horizontal and vertical. So you can only go, for example, like this one here, you can only go here, left, right, and down, and you cannot go diagonally. That's why this numbers like you count here is all four directional. You may assume all four edges of the grid are surrounded by water. The area of an island is number of cells with a value 1 in the island. So basically all ones that connected together are an island. Return the maximum area of an island in a grid. If there is no island, return 0. So basically, if you look at something like this, and this will be our island, right? So the area is 1, and this area is 1, 2, 3, 4. And this 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is an island, this is an island. They are not connected, they are not the same island. It's because that it's four directionally. So this guy is not connected to this guy at all. So here is 5, and of course the max number is 6, right? Yeah, so this is this example here. And another example that they give us is if it's all 0, then you return 0. That simply there's no island at all. And this is some constraints here. And if you look at here, Amazon asked this question 18 times in the last 6 months. So I would say it's a question definitely worth checking out. And if you look at this question, it's a very, I feel, straightforward depth search problem. And you just need to make sure that when you count the island, right? You visit each cell and you want to visit their neighbors. And if they're like those 0, then you simply don't need to do anything. And then after you visit each cell, you want to add the cell to the hash set that we're going to use so that you won't need to visit the same cell again. And after that, you basically want to run depth search on its neighbor all four directionally. And every time you run it, you need to add the depth search result to the existing result. And let's say you start from this cell here, 1, and here is 1, right? And then you add a 1 to the up, down, left, and right. So basically you add all the depth search result together. And that's the main depth search function. And then when you call the depth search function, you just wanted to go through the entire grid. You want to run on the cell that has a value as 1, and also the cell has not been visited already. And then you want to basically run depth search, but then you want to get the max output, right? So you want to you want to get a max of the result and the depth search function. Yep, that's the thought process, and it's pretty straightforward. And I'm gonna show you how to do this in code, and then I'm gonna use a visit set to make sure that to record all the cell that the row and column count in the visit set. So make sure that I don't revisit it again, and I'm gonna define typically like how I do it. And this is a grid, and grid 0, so just define a graph. And here is I'm gonna run write the main depth search function, and I'm gonna pass 2 parameters. Basically is the row and column count, any row and column count. So first I want to do the condition check is that if r is smaller than 0, or like basically if it's out of bound, like c smaller than 0, or r equal rows, or c equal cols, or if the RC in visit that I have already visited, then I no need to visit it again, or grid RC is 0 is 0. If there's 0, I'm definitely not going to count any of them into the island, right? So totally no need. So if they're out of bound or any of this case that I mentioned, what should we do? So this function, what we wanted to return is the numbers, right? The max area. So in this case, if it's out of bound or they're visited already or they're 0, we simply wanted to return 0 in this case, right? And then after that, either way, I'm gonna add the visit set into the row and column count into the visit set. And then here, what we wanted to do is we want to run depth search on the row and columns and basically all neighbors and all 4 directions. So I want to say +1, -1, and this one will be +1, and this is -1. And if you think about it, and let's say if I started with this guy, right? This max area is already 1. And then I want to add on whatever that is left on the 4 directions. So I actually have to add a 1 to the result for the cell itself, because we're not going to count the grid RC equals 0 at all. In that case, we already return 0. So whatever we're counting here, it has to be grid RC equals to 1. So that one is already an area 1. So we have to add a 1 here. And then we want to add the 4 directional neighbors, right? So the depth search function, what I wanted to do is actually return this result, if that makes sense. So return the depth search on all 4 directions. That's basically the main function of the entire area. And then I want to say result equal, I'm going to call the depth search function. When I call the depth search function, I'm going to assign the max area as the result, basically as 0 at the beginning. So I'm going to call for R in range of rows. I'm basically going to for C in range of calls. I'm just gonna go through every single style in this grid, in this entire grid. What I'm gonna do is that I'm definitely gonna call the depth search function on the row and column, right? And then actually if grid if RC not in visit, it has not been visited, and also grid RC equals to 1. I'm gonna write run depth search function, and then I'm gonna the result I'm gonna return is a max of the result between the result and the depth search function, if that makes sense, because what I'm trying to do is find out the max every time when I run a depth search on each different island, right? I get a result, but I gotta have to update it because they want you to find the max the size, max the area. So after I run through the entire row and column, then I can return the result. Let's see. If line 16, oh yeah, there's a indentation problem here. Yep, it returned the result. Let me just show you the code here. Yep, that is the code, and let's submit it. Okay, great. So if you think this is helpful, please like my video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon with more legal questions. Okay, bye bye.